The 2026 NBA All-Stars have been announced, and for the Western Conference, it's Wembanyama, but should there have been another silver and black player?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to Locked On Spurs, right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for KENS 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you all back. And as always, thank you for making the Locked On Sports Podcast Network #1 in the nation and making Locked On Spurs your first and only spot for all things silver and black. What are we talking about today? We're going to be looking at the All-Star weekend. It's right around the corner. Outside of maybe one other Spur, perhaps this is probably one of the most loaded Spurs representations in recent memory. You have Mitch Johnson, more on him later. He'll be an all-star coach. You have several other Spurs that are going there in some capacity, either like Carter Bryant, dunk contest, maybe all-star, etc. But can you make the case that perhaps other Spurs were snubbed from making the all-star squad? I know we're gonna try. We got two players in mind, and then talk about Mitch Johnson getting the nod to become an NBA all-star coach. That's going to bring in our guest, everybody. He is back. Mr. Rudy Campos of Box Score Studio. He's on X at Box Score Studio. And the streets are saying that his show is growing leaps and bounds right now. So is that true, Rudy?
It's very true. Box Score Studio is growing. For those that want to catch me on the Sports Answer, which is Answer Now TV, that's growing, by leaps and bounds. So yeah, appreciate all the success, all the support, man, because it's you people the reason why I'm successful with all these projects I'm doing.
Awesome. Yeah, more on that in a bit. But Rudy, let's go ahead and dive into it. So the NBA recently announced the West reserves, and not too surprisingly, I don't think anybody was surprised. There was no Spur named. So as of now, barring any injury or anything like that, Victor Wembanyama will be the lone Spurs rep during the All-Star game. Now, obviously, there'll be other Spurs there for the All-Star festivities, as mentioned, the Carter Bryant dunk contest, David Jones-Garcia at the G League team, Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle for the Rising Stars. So there'll be quite a handful of silver and black representation throughout the entire weekend. Yep. But we're going to try to make a case here that perhaps two other Spurs were snubbed. And before we hit record, Rudy, right off the bat, we kind of were looking at perhaps De'Aaron Fox. Why did you have him on your short list as a possible snub?
Well, let's be honest first. It's going to be really hard to say, yeah, they deserve to get a respect.
It's tough.
Not on the roster. But case for De'Aaron Fox, ideally, he's the second best player on the Spurs team. Most people will say Stephon Castle. I will say probably Stephon Castle as well. But De'Aaron Fox makes the case because he's the point guard. He's the leader of this squad. Mm-hmm. He's the guy that gets the offense moving. You see him play some good defense from time to time. He gets steals left and right. I think when you look at the factors of everything for the way the season's been going, I think he's probably been a little bit more vital in certain situations. We've seen Stephon Castle play just kind of come down a little bit. Could be that sophomore slump that a lot of players go through. He's had a little bit of struggles from time to time. De'Aaron Fox, same thing, some struggles, but the consistency has been a little bit more there for De'Aaron. That's why my case, but also the other simple fact is come on, you have two Los Angeles Lakers. One of them doesn't deserve to be there. If you're going to go on that case, you need to go on the case of the Spurs are the second best team in the West. They should have at least two representatives in there because you've got Chet Holmgren and SGA for the Oklahoma City Thunder. You have Jokic, you have Jamal Murray for the Nuggets. But yeah, you only have one rep when it comes to the Spurs who have a better record than Denver. So to me, that is a snub in itself because there should be two Spurs on this All-Star team.
I'm with you. I think there should be two Spurs on the All-Star squad. I think this year is different, everybody. It's world versus USA. So however you want to slice it, there should be a Spur. And obviously, I think it'll be an American with either Fox or the other player we're going to talk about in a bit. But you're right. Second best record in the West, one of the top 5 records in the NBA, and only one rep, Wemby. That's it. That's not a good look. That's definitely not a good look. And we look at Fox. You also got to look at the fact that in the position he plays at. My goodness, East, West, there's just so many guards that have the more popularity. They have the bigger market. Luka in LA. Who else am I missing here? Other guards out there. Steph Curry, Golden State. It's Steph Curry. Okay, fine. I get that. The list goes on and on. The position he's in right now, playing in the shadow of Victor, obviously he embraces it. He doesn't mind that. If you look at his numbers this season, 19.8 points per game, 4.1 rebounds, 6.2 assists in about 33 minutes. He's shooting 48% from the field, and he's connecting on at least 2 3-pointer makes on average per game, for 35%. And then you look at the last 5 games, he kind of upped his production. 17.2 points in 3.4 rebounds, 7.4 assists. Great facilitator. And again, he's doing that 33 minutes. His 2-point shooting for a percentage field goal shooting, there we go, 63%. So he's deadly inside that 3-point line there. But I think this is a situation where just the players ahead of him, or not, I should say in the same position, this is a popularity contest. They're going to go with the Luka. They're going to go with the Steph Currys. They're going to go with SGAs, and fine. We get that. We understand that. But here's a bigger question. I think I've asked you this before. He has an all-star appearance under his belt during the Sacramento days.
Correct.
All-star appearances moving forward will no longer be the case for Fox, simply because the position he plays and that guy next to him, number 1, Wemby.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say if he's going to get another all-star nod. I think if the Spurs were able to creep up into that number 1 spot, or, I mean, ideally have a better record than what they're showing right now, you probably could make an even bigger case for a second representative for San Antonio. But you also got to look at the fact, too, Jeff, is when Wemby was out, Fox was one of the guys that was able to help the Spurs be successful still during that time period. Yeah, Luke Cornett did his job, but it was also the guard play that helped the Spurs during that time as well. So some of his better games has actually been against some of the better competition. So we can't really hold that against him as to, hey, you know what, is he better than Steph Curry? Well, on the popular side, probably not. He probably is. He probably isn't. You look at SGA, you look at other players in there. That's where you got to kind of separate everything. Look at Jamal Murray. When Jokic was out, Jamal Murray went on a tear. Fox didn't have the same kind of terror that Jamal Murray has, but he had the same kind of impact. Jamal Murray was still able to keep Denver in the mix of things. De'Aaron Fox and the rest of the guard play were able to keep the Spurs in the mix of things when Wemby was out. So, again, I think when it comes to all-star snubs, you got to look at it like this. Is he more valuable with X player out? Yes, I think Fox is a very valuable piece if Wemby is out. Again, second best record in the West, third best record overall in the league. You've got 2 representatives from Detroit on the East. You've got 2 from Denver, 2 from OKC. No reason, absolutely none, that there should not be 2 representatives from the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, I'm with you. And it's just really tough to make a case from a bulk of this roster. A lot of these guys are young. Keldon Johnson, just not up there, that all-star level. Same with Devin. Same with Harper. He's still too young. So it's tough. It's really, really tough. This team, yes, they're very top-heavy with an all-star, Wemby. And then after that, it's kind of like a fringe all-star, Fox. And then that's it. That's pretty much it. You really can't go deeper than that. Maybe you can. We'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, this roster, as great as it's been constructed, Brian, right? At the same time, they're just, as far as dripping with all-star talent like OKC, like Denver, it's just not there yet. But hey, the record is a reflection of how good this team is. And yeah, I'm with you. I think the NBA or the fans maybe, or just coaches, whoever has picked the reserves, they kind of maybe dropped the ball in this, and should at least have 2 all-stars from San Antonio. Hey, Rudy, let's take a quick break. When we get back, let's continue this chat. It's all about Fox, and continue who I'm picking as a possible snub for the All-Star game.
It's the last call for football for FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff, the final chance to get in on the action before the NFL season officially comes to a close. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure you're in the middle of it with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. Whether you're backing the favorite, riding with the underdog, or building one last same game parlay, this is the game everyone's been waiting for. This is where predictions turn into plays, stats turn into storylines, and every snap feels bigger. It's a perfect way to cap off the season and make the Super Bowl more exciting from kickoff to the final whistle. If you're a new customer, just bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Make it count, because the Super Bowl, that's it. Season's over. Last call for football on FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Let's talk about Indeed. Hiring isn't just about finding someone willing to take the job. It's about finding the right person with the right background who can actually help your business moving forward. And if you want candidates who match what you're looking for, Indeed Sponsored Jobs is the move. Because instead of hoping the right person stumbles across your post, Indeed helps you match with quality candidates by boosting your job listing to the people who fit your specific criteria, like skills, certifications, and location. If I'm hiring, I wouldn't want just someone who can help. I want someone with real experience who can jump right in. That's what I like about Indeed. You can get specific and target exactly what you need. It saves time because you're spending less energy sorting through mismatches. And with sponsored jobs, your post gets seen by candidates who are actually a fit. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Listeners of the show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help your job on the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed.
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs, joined by Mr. Rudy Campos of Box Score Studio. We are talking about if there's any case you can make for a possible Spurs snub for the All-Star game. Only Wemby is going, wearing that silver and black. That's it. No other Spur made it. We've already established there will be a lot of Spurs representation there. Yes, there is. But as far as the actual big game itself, it's just Wemby. Now, Rudy, before the break, you wanted to throw in something else. Go ahead and what was that point you're going to make?
Yeah, I wanted to just say, it feels like it's kind of a motivating factor if you want to go for when it comes to De'Aaron Fox and whoever else we're going to talk about when it comes to getting an all-star sub. We understand, they weren't going to get there. We totally understand that. They kind of were in the middle of the pack or just below the average pick for the all-star game. But this kind of feels like the old Spurs successful teams. When I say that, they always got disrespected. They always got overlooked. Yeah. No matter the impact they had on the game, they were just another player majority of the time. And I think that is some kind of motivation that you'll be able to see with a player like De'Aaron Fox or anybody else on this roster. They know they deserve to be on the all-star team in some instance. They really do. But it's because they're seeing players ahead of them who are popular by choice or by decision. I think this is a great thing that it might have happened because now, second half of the season, this, unappreciated Spurs team may be a little bit more deadlier going into the playoffs.
Yeah. Maybe Fox should take LeBron's spot there. I know you're totally railing against
LeBron. He should have never made that. He should have never been an all-star.
You think that was more of a parting gift? Your time is over already, LeBron.
If he doesn't retire at the end of this season, then that was a waste of an all-star pick right there. I'm just saying that right now.
All right. Well, we're talking about trying to make a case for any other Spur to join Wemby in Los Angeles during the All-Star break. And we obviously hammered on Fox, and he is the strongest candidate. But I don't know how to classify this guy as a dark horse or just a very, very wild card, underscore, bold letters. But maybe Steph Castle. I mean, he's perhaps the third closest to all-star level yet. But again, the position that he plays, you just Fox alone. I think if voters were to say, okay, who you going to pick as an all-star, Fox or Castle, we'll probably go with Castle in this case. I'm sorry, Fox, excuse me. Again, victim of the position. Also, I think victim of just too much too soon. He's just in his second season. But if you look at his second season, so far, 17 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, 7 assists, 31 minutes, electric, dynamic, a power guard, relentless hustle, 45% shooting from the field. You look at his 2-point percentage is 53%. He's giving at least one 3-pointer a game. And he's a plus 2.7 for the Spurs whenever he's on the court. His last 5 games, 13.2 points per game. The list goes on and on. I think this may be a case like we're reaching here with Castle, but if we're trying to make a case for a possible snub, he might be the next closest. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the next closest would definitely be Stephon Castle. Now, I think he's going to be an all-star sometime during his career. It's just not going to happen right now. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the case between him and Fox would probably get the nod if you talk to most people. But again, it's the explosive moves that Castle brings. It's the defensive side of the ball. He does every little thing right. He's helped the Spurs stay in a lot of games and win a lot of games this year. So it goes back to who's valued more, who's meant more to the team in the absence of either Victor being out for a game or being out for some quarters, and you have that time frame there. It's such a toss-up right now that I think I would still go with Fox. But when it comes to Castle, it's not a disrespect to him, because he's going to be an all-star in the next few years. It's just not going to be right now. But you got to also remember is that he's only in his sophomore season. He's going to continue to get better. Could he be an all-star? This is the question. Not is he going to be an all-star, but will he eventually become an all-star starter? That's where I think I like to see for him. I know he's going to be an all-star in time. It's just, can he get to that all-star starter position with guys like Luka and SGA still there? Can he get to that level? I mean, that is soon to be determined.
Yeah, and there are signs too that Castle is in the right path when this comes to being an all-star. I recall the first fan voting returns, and you noticed, but Castle was in the mix. He was in the front running players to get a spot. So fans are trying to see, at least the fan vote side of things, fans are trying to see Castle as a name, as a household name, a player who can bring excitement to the court. It is a popularity contest. We know that. And definitely going to get there. His power dunks, his defense, speed, the list goes on and on. I think for him, in the coming years, he's going to have to just really come on the scene, though. Do you think he's going to have a strong showing because of the fact that so many guards in the West, or just in the NBA, period? I forgot to do the Team USA World Games, just in the NBA in general.
I don't see him surpassing Luka and SGA on the West, at least. I can maybe see, because Curry's towards the end of his career. He's maybe got a few years left. So I think I could see him surpassing a lot of those guys. You got to remember Kyrie Irving is in the West too. So, I mean, he's out with injury this year, but you're right. You got so many guards. Is he going to be able to surpass certain guys? That's still, again, it's still way too early in his career. I figured he'd be an all-star maybe in year 4. You want to see him as an all-star. Okay. So that's where, I think we're going to start to see him play at that all-star level where he started off the year fantastic. He was great, but then kind of leveled off a little bit, kind of went under the radar a little bit. So it happens. It happens. But I think a good question to ask for you and Locked On Spurs fans out there is, when it comes to Castle, who has the potential to get more all-stars in their career? Is it Castle or Dylan Harper?
That is a great question. And again, it's too soon to ask that because Harper is just still a rookie. You got to give him a little bit more time to get seasoned out there before making that leap. Man.
But you thought, look at this rookie season. I mean, I think Castle, had that, a good rookie season. He's rookie of the year. Now, Harper is in a class where he's just bombarded with really good talent as rookie. But if you put Dylan Harper in that Stephon Castle rookie class, I mean, you're potentially talking about him being a rookie of the year as well. So, I mean, that's kind of the bad part about it. But if you look at their seasons, I think they may not be very close, but they got to be pretty darn close as far as, stats go.
Let me ask you, how much does this upcoming draft impact that? I mean, that's the word on the street, is that this may be one of those greatest drafts ever. Because I think also too, people are saying that if you beyond this upcoming draft, like the pool gets watered down. It's not as strong anymore. But
Yeah.
what do you think about this upcoming draft class?
I like this upcoming draft class. Similar to what I said about last year's draft class,
Mhm.
you're going to see a lot of guys that are going to be all-stars and superstars for their team. You're
Mhm.
already seeing that with VJ Edgecombe. Dylan Harper's coming into his own. He's not a superstar yet, but he's a massive difference maker. Guys like Cooper Flag, Concanepo. I mean, and we have yet to see the likes of Ace Bailey break out.
Yeah.
The likes of Trey Johnson in Washington. These guys are just going to be monsters when they get into when they fit into the game of the NBA.
Yeah.
So this is another draft class coming out next year where, again, you got Peterson coming out of Kansas, you got DeBonza coming out of BYU,
Mhm.
you've got a ton of Boozer coming out of Duke, you got a ton of great players coming out there. You are going to have another draft class where all-star potential is probably a guarantee, Jeff.
Yeah.
And you're right. I think I was going to make this suggestion on Box Score Studio when we go live again, and that's I think you may have to add a couple of spots on these all-star
Interesting.
teams, because
Interesting.
not so much the snub part, but I think there's deserving players that do get overlooked. And one way to correct that is add a spot or two for these guys. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, it just makes a lot more sense to do that.
We'll see. The NBA is always looking for innovative ways to spice up the game. I had no idea that what they had that. They had a set of games recently. Did you catch that? It was called the Pioneer Games.
I think so. Yeah, I think
I had no idea that was a thing. I mean, that just popped up out of nowhere. So the NBA is always looking for new things. I mean, to take an example, this upcoming All-Star game, it's Team USA versus Team World. Finally, hopefully that spices things up. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it is tough. I get it, everybody. We're maybe reaching here a little bit with Castle, but for sure, Fox may have a case to say that perhaps he was snubbed for this upcoming All-Star game. But what do y'all think? Agree with us or no? It's just Wemby and that's it. Let Rudy know on X at Box Score Studio. Let me know on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. When we get back, reaction to Mitch Johnson becoming an NBA All-Star head coach.
Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without the stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. They handle everything from W-2 self-employed forms, so you can just get to work on those deductions. You can upload your documents, go about your day, get updates right in the TurboTax app. It's a huge time saver, gives real peace of mind knowing an expert is handling it. For a limited time offer, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today.
I did not snub you in my All-Star list, Rudy. You did not. No snub here.
I should be the leading vote getter on Locked On Network, so it should be no.
Yeah, landslide. First ballot, all that good stuff. He is Rudy Campos of Box Score Studio. Join us here on Locked On Spurs. Kind of an all-star game edition here. We just went over possible snubs from the Silver and Black squad to represent San Antonio in Los Angeles. But one guy who definitely will be there, Mitch Johnson and the coaching staff. The NBA announced after the recent win over the Magic that Mitch got it. Thumbs up to a combination of the Spurs winning and Denver losing to the Thunder. And that's how Mitch sealed the deal. Now, if y'all wondering, well, why are the Thunder coaching staff going out there? Well, NBA has a rule that coaching staff from the team, so in this case, Mark Daigneault, the OKC brass and the coach staff did it last year. They can't do it back-to-back, so it has to be somebody new. So they go with the second best record in this case, in the West. In this case, it was Mitch Johnson and the Spurs. So what I liked about, too, is his reaction, Mitch Johnson's, when you could just tell a difference in eras. The Popovich would have just whatever moved on and talk about the game. Mitch Johnson actually entertained the conversation to a degree. Now, he did say that, he wasn't thinking about it or he doesn't want to toot his own horn, but he did say it would be an honor. He says that he's looking forward to making great memories in Los Angeles, not just for himself, the players, but even with his family. His family's going to be out there. He's excited for it as well. I think it's going to do well for him. I know a lot of Spurs fans are kind of like 50-50 on him. They're split, but you can't argue with the record, second best in the West. I mean, he's doing a bang-up job, and record-wise, he earned it. What do you think?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Jeff, I don't go and brag on your show or any show on that, but if you guys can rewind a Locked On in the summer, and I kept saying how great this coaching staff was at Mississippi,
Yes, I did.
this is the reason why I said that. I mean, look at the record. You can't argue with the second best record in the West, third best record in the league right now. They are doing a bang-up job. Mitch Johnson has brought a new environment, a new culture into the Spurs locker room that we hadn't seen since pre-Pop days.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the response from the players. I mean, look at the record, 33-16 is what they are as of right now. I mean, anybody that said the Spurs would be 33 wins at the NBA All-Star mark, I would almost have to call, shenanigans on that because nobody had that. I mean, absolutely nobody would have said 33 wins at the All-Star break, but much deserved. Congratulations to Mitch Johnson.
Yep.
The coaching staff, and I get it. Mitch is going to soak it in. Mitch deserves it. He's the head guy.
No, he's soaking it in. Yep.
Yeah, I guarantee you, if you ask him, he's probably going to say, you know what, I couldn't do it without my coaching staff. Sean Sweeney, Paul Spillers, and Rashard Lewis, a lot of these guys. He's put a great staff together. The Spurs front office did a pretty great job, bang-up job, putting the staff together. So, again, congratulations to the staff. Well-deserved, and continue the success throughout the regular season.
Mitch Johnson becomes the second Spurs head coach to be the All-Star NBA head coach. Y'all know who did it first. That's Greg Popovich back in 2016. This is what Mitch has done this season. All right, as of this recording, 33-16 record. All right, that's third in the NBA. Right, he's guided the Spurs to the best record through 49 games since the 2016-17 season, and the Spurs ranked in the top 10 in opponents' second chance points, fast break points allowed, opponent field goal percentage, fourth, opponent scoring, seventh, and holding the league's third best defensive rating at 111.4. Let's not forget, too, he was recently named a NBA Coach of the Month for this season. And Spurs have now the third most clutch wins in the NBA at 17 this season. And in those tight situations, the Spurs have a 124.8 offensive rating. That's third in the NBA. You can't argue with numbers, Rudy. They say stats don't lie, numbers don't lie. The proof is there. Why do you think Spurs fans always come at them now? Why do you think that is? I mean, if they lose a game, it's all hell's going to break loose.
Spurs fans are disgruntled, man. You can be, 30. You can have a record of like 44-2, and they're going to look at those two losses and find reasons as to why the Spurs lost those two games. And, in most cases this year, it's a lot of it. Well, Mitch Johnson didn't do this right. Mitch Johnson didn't do this right. He didn't call the right timeout. He didn't play the right lineup. He should have gone with this guy. He should have gone with that guy. Well, there's a reason why all of us are at home on the couch watching the games, is because Mitch Johnson knows what he's doing. The record is there. It's proven fact. The numbers don't lie. I've been on a little campaign for Mitch Johnson to say, relax, give the guy, a round of applause. He's been able to do something that Spurs fans haven't been able to see for a while, and that's bring a winning culture. Everybody wanted, hey, we're wasting Victor Wembanyama's prime years. I remember those talks, and I'm like, relax. Mitch Johnson's coming in. I mean, hello, now look at the record. Are we wasting Victor's prime years? Yep. No, they're getting better and better. So, again, I don't know why fans come at Mitch Johnson. I made it clear before. I'm making it clear again. He's not the one missing those 3-point shots. He's not the one missing, defensive assignments. He's not on the court. There's only so much blame you can put on a coaching staff. Maybe a couple of losses. I totally get that. But for losses as to why the Spurs went cold shooting from the field, give me a break. It's not Mitch Johnson's fault.
Also, too, yeah, he's always good about saying, giving players grace. So, for example, Dylan Harper, a rookie, he's told me, hey, we got to give him a little bit of grace.
Yeah.
Devin Vassell, coming back from an injury, he's been on the record as saying, hey, give him a little bit of grace because he's just coming back from injury. We're trying to get him back in the rhythm. Well, I think, Mitch, you deserve a little grace, too. You are a rookie NBA head coach. You're filling in the shoes of one of the greatest, if not the greatest NBA or basketball head coach ever. And two, yeah, you got to earn your stripes. The interim label is gone. You're now officially the NBA Spurs head coach. So maybe the refs are still trying to test you out. You still got to, earn your licks and take your bumps along the road as a rookie NBA head coach. But all in all, I think he's doing a bang-up job motivating the guys. Y'all seen those videos come out in the huddles. Mitch is just all about the energy, passion. And Keldon Johnson recently said that those players love to play for him. So that's huge. That's huge. But I definitely deserved it. Man, Spurs fans, just relax. Just pump the brakes a little bit. All right. You don't have to bag on him all the time. Everybody's gonna make mistakes. It happens. If the Spurs were not having the record that they have right now and well below 500, then go at it. But he's proving that he is a winning coach so far in his young official head coaching career. He is Mr. Rudy Campos of Box Score Studio. You want to follow him on X at Box Score Studio. You get from Box Score to other adventures, things you're doing. Again, your program, your world there is growing by leaps and bounds.
Yeah, so for Box Score Studio, all you gotta do is go to YouTube, search Box Score Studio TV, hit that subscribe button. If you want to catch me on the Sports Answer, part of Answer Now TV, go to Answer Now TV, R2, subscribe there so you can catch the Sports Answer. And yeah, man, Super Bowl's coming up, so we're talking a lot about Super Bowl, NBA All-Star Game. Don't forget, when this video is released, NBA trade deadline is only a couple of days away, so we got a ton to cover. But real quick, before I go with the Mitch Johnson talk, I like to leave it at this. Look at the difference between Devin Vassell's play with Coach Pop and Devin Vassell's play with Mitch Johnson. He's kicked it up a whole notch. That should show you the type of coach that Mitch Johnson is. He's getting the absolute best out of his players right now, and that's as Spurs fans, that's all you want to see.
Absolutely. Again, he is Mr. Rudy Campos with Box Score Studio. At Box Score Studio, Rudy, we appreciate you hopping on as you always do each week, talk silver and black with us. Everybody else, we thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Campos, plus app, YouTube. You know what to do, and that is go subscribe right now. Hey, speaking of the NBA trade deadline, it's basically here, right? But we want to give you a free month of the new NBA Everydayer Club to help get you ready. So we need a group chat to keep up with the chaos. If you join ours, the Everydayer Club gets you access to a group chat on Discord just for Spurs fans, plus the national chats where you can hang out with fans across the league and go hang out there. You'll have some fun. You get ad-free versions of this show. You sign up by the trade deadline on February 5th. You can use code DEADLINE, and that'll get your first month free. Tap the link in the show notes to learn more. Yeah, and speed of that Everydayer Club, basically what it is you get ad-free Locked On Spurs. You get an access to Discord channel where you talk with other silver and black fans. You just want to go to lockedonpodcast.com/Everydayer Club. Go sign up ASAP. We'll be back tomorrow as the Spurs season rolls on. So for Mr. Rudy Campos, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.